So now that we've got our data loaded into S3, I want to point out something that...
into DataBricks.
Into DataBricks, yes. I want to point out something that you may have come across as an error when you've just loaded this. Now, the other thing I said was that we were going to try the ***/ trick. ***/*. So this is going back to S3 and it's going to load the data in again. Yes, This is what I was hoping for. You were hoping for an error. How interesting. Okay. What this has done here is it said... I expected to see this in the last video and I just got excited that we didn't see it. So we've got different schema on our objects. On our objects here, we said that we have a bunch of extra fields.
Yeah.
That the first set of data. So we had the custom event in hour 2, whereas in hour 1, we didn't have those.
Oh yeah, it was just like the start data.
Yeah, it was just the base default data. So what DataBricks does here, when you say load up some JSON, it says I'm going to load up a part of the data and I will take that as the schema for all of them. So if it loaded up in this case, what it's done to give us that error is it's loaded up this set of data here, which was the initial hooray, we have analytics working, we've pressed start, we've pressed stop.
Cool.
If your loading hit this file first, then you will have gotten that error because then it's tried to load up the next set of JSON, which has a different schema, and the whole thing's going, whoa, I can't deal with extra file bits, and so it just crashes.
Okay.
So if you're getting that, and let's just kill this off, because we know that data that we have back here in the first hour, we don't want to keep it. It was just our initial stuff.
Yeah.
So,
but
you know what? As if an end user was following along with this, then they wouldn't have had that problem anyway, because they didn't have the auto export of the data set up, whereas we did.
Okay.
Anyway, okay, cool. So,
just in case,
let's delete it anyway.
Yeah. let's just assume.
Yeah. So let's come back here, and now the ***/* trick did actually work. So that's going to say I'm just going to grab every single subdirectory and keep on going down the train and working my way back up. Now it's saying I don't like you again because O2. The initial record here didn't have something in it. So, whoops, delete you. Come back and load it again. And chill.
Alright, otherwise my ***/ trick did not work.
I don't want your ***/ trick to not work.
Well.
That means that I would have deleted it. Oh. Wow, that's interesting.
It must be loading it up a different way if we do that.
Yeah, that's weird.
In that case, let's just not worry about it.
Yeah, let's not worry about it. I'm going to play with that one offline a bit more. Interesting. Okay, so if you're following along with this and going, I don't get it, mine worked, and you're confused, it's okay. Just use the 5 stars and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Rightio. So let's look at this data. We've just deleted a whole bunch of data and now we'll come and run this one here and it'll go, hey, I've got the data again. Alright, so this is quite an interesting thing here. When you say read JSON and you've told it to go ahead and do this and then display the data, what it did here, it didn't actually load anything at this point. It just went to the first file and said, hey, have you got the schema that I want? And it just read the schema. Then when we came here and said, the JSON data, I'd like you to display it, it said, sure, I will go and actually read up all of the data and load it into memory. Then I'll display it and then I'll forget it all and I'll let go of it all. Because you can have multiple people attached to the same cluster, and so they might want to load up a whole bunch of data from S3 and from Redshift and combine them together, do the query, and then it goes, great, there's your answer, and it forgets it all.
Okay.
So it clears it all out again. So every time we're going to do this, the JSON data, it's going to reload it again and then try and show it to you again.
Cool.
So to get around that one, you can do this. .cache. Now this says, don't execute straight away, but just go ahead and prepare yourself to load the data. I'm going to give you the cache instruction so that next time when you do load it into memory, just keep it there and don't forget about it. So we'll run this and it goes, no troubles whatsoever, reads it, chills out, goes through all the directories in S3, filling in time while I'm talking. There it goes. It says awesome. So look at this. The JSON data. This is what the data frame is. And now it says now I'm actually going to go and cache that stuff. And now we'll do the display. Great. And now this is a fun thing. Let's explore what this Spark job is saying. If we expand this out, and then we can go to the view the job. So you send off a job, and then the job might have sub things that it needs to do, sub stages. And then that stage has a bunch of tasks. So you'll see one of one in this case. We'll see more of this in a second, but I just wanted to come into the view and go to, where is it? Storage. And this here is the data that we loaded up. And we can see that it is 42.9K in memory.
Wow.
So if we didn't run cache, then this would not be here.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it just displays it and gets rid of it.
Yeah. Loads into memory, gives you the display, and then forgets it.
And so then what if we did operations on the JSON data if we didn't call it cache then? Would it just keep pulling out of S3 every single time?
Yeah, every single time.
Oh, okay.
So if we did display and display, or just have another cell and another and display, and then we ran them 1, 2, 3 without caching it, it would go load it up from S3, load it into the schema, display it, forget about it, load it up from S3, yeah, blah blah blah. But by doing cache here, we've said awesome, load it into memory. When you do load it into memory, keep it in memory. Go ahead and display it. And hey, you've still got it in memory, so display it 2 more times.
Cool.
And SQL Spark goes, I don't know why you'd want me to do that, but sure, I'll display it 2 more times.
Yeah.
All right, so let's clear off these 2 cells.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can get into Richard's happy place, which is SQL. So we can take this object, this data frame called the JSON data, and we can say create or replace temp view. And we're going to call this one JSON data. I'm going to give it a different name just so we can see that it's different. So Nick asked earlier, Nick, you were asking earlier,
yes.
If I create an object in one language, can I talk to it in another? And you go, yes, you can, by telling it to be available in that other language.
Okay.
So if you've worked with SQL before, then you've got a table of data in your database, and then you say, I'd like to create a view, which is really a way of talking to that data.
Okay.
Like it's abstracting you away from the actual table itself and saying, now you talk to this view, which does a whole bunch of things.
So like
you could,
and in that view you can specify specific parts of data of that table that you wanted to expose.
Yeah.
It's like a window that you get to show different parts.
Yeah. But in this case, all we're saying is, you know what, just expose the entire thing.
Chuck the whole thing in.
Yeah, and we go, yeah, that's fine. So now we can come here, and I go, I want to be in SQL. So we said that everything we were doing was in Scala, because when we created it, it was in Scala. But now I go, I want to cross my language over to SQL, please. And so we go %SQL. And it even went a little bold to say, oh, I recognize that one. Whoa, that was not meant to happen. I recognize it now in SQL. So I can go select star from JSON data.
Oh, you didn't execute the above.
And I forgot to execute. Thank you very much. And it says, hooray, I have done it. And you can see my email there, richardmorwood@gmail.com. That's because I'm the person who connected to this, who ran it. If we had multiple people inside of this, all executing on the same notebook together, then we would all be able to see who's running what cells.
Cool.
Okay, cool. So now we've got select star from JSON data. Hooray! If I wanted to, let's explore this a bit more first. So we've now got our application, and we've got our app ID, and we've got our Cognito identity pool, which is, so this is general stuff about the application. This is where the ID of my computer was passed in. Where Cognito is going to get the ID of this computer from. We can now look here at attributes and see, hey, these are the attributes of the event that we passed in. I passed in device ID, I passed in device model and device type. And there's our level name and our level version. We can scroll along a little bit further and see, now this is information from the client itself. This client ID is the actual Cognito ID given to me from the Cognito service. So we can look at this and say, how many different client IDs have I seen? And it'll say, I've only seen one. And let's prove that. So if we want to pick all of the distinct client ID objects, we can just do this. Client ID.
What?
Now I'm going to leave star on there, so it just puts this column here at the start, and then gives everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And there it is, client ID. So just to demonstrate that one a little bit further, let's put just client.
What if it was like an array?
We're not going to deal with arrays, but you could use the exploit function, or you could do index-based talking to it. So select this part 0, this part 1, this part 2.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to use arrays, but we can try. I think we might be able to just try and get one in there, because then we can talk about exploit, and exploit's fun. All right, so let's look at this. Client ID is finishing in 3DD3 and is indeed finishing in 3DD3. We'll scroll down through all of them.
They're all the same.
They're all the same. But you know what? I don't want to have to scroll through all of them to look at that. What if I have many, many thousands of rows or millions because my data is big? We can say distinct. If I can work my keyboard correctly. There we go. We can say, just get me the distinct client IDs that you see.
So we expect just one.
Just one. Whoop, no troubles at all. There is the one. I mean, oh, cool. That's
fancy.
Fun. Okay, so now we've. What else do we look at this? Let's not call the end of this video just yet. Let's explore what else we have. Select star from JSON data. We've got the attributes. Where can we find something about an event type? Device, event. Here it is, event type.
Mm-hmm.
So we just talked about the distinct operator. We can now go, select event type from JSON data. And this is going to have all the different events that we've seen. So we press P quite a lot, so there'll be lots of mix events.
Yep.
But we can go distinct event type and get rid of all the duplicates that we've got around there, and say we've got session start, session stop, and nix event.
Mm-hmm.
And we know there's going to be a nix event because we press P a lot. Session start was when we started the application.
Can we get the
game.
count of these?
Yes, we can. And then we get session stop, which is when we stop playing the game. So then we can do this. Now we're going to explore all of these things in a lot more detail in the syntax of SQL, because a lot of what we do from this point forward is going to be SQL. So
cool.
I love SQL. We can say count star from JSON data group by event type. And this is going to say, I'll get the events.
Whoa. That's cool.
I'll get the events and I'll count them. I'll give you the count of how many times I have seen each of that event type. Because we group it by event type. And it says, well, I've seen 51 of nick events.
That's very cool.
And I've seen 4 starts and 4 stops.
So then, okay. If we went back into Unity now and we just kept spamming it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we kept, when it starts, if we keep spamming it, yep, P. Keep going, yep.
Is 40 enough for you?
Yeah, it's fine.
You don't want 50?
Yeah, keep going. Wait.
I'll give you 50.
Yeah, cool. Alright.
And a stop.
Yes, and a stop. And also a start.
Well, and a start, yes. Yep.
And so that would probably not be in S3 yet, would it?
No, it would not be in S3 yet.
No, we'd have to wait a little while.
Yeah, we would have to wait a little while. Now, how long is that little while going to be? I don't know. It could be up to 60 minutes because we could have just hit that 60-minute threshold. Or it could be 2 minutes because we're so close to the end of that 60-minute threshold.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have the answer.
Alright, well, I guess we'll find out sometime.
We will find out sometime. We will find out sometime. Yeah, but that's an important point. This has loaded in everything from S3 at that moment in time.
So we'll have to run this again if we want to get the new data.
If we want to get the new data.
Fair enough.
So every time we jump in and we say load up the data, we are going to effectively load a snapshot of what's in S3 at that point in time. So we can change this to be read stream, and now that'll go and query S3 quite often and say, hey, have you got anything new for me? Have you got anything new for me? Have you got anything new for me?
Interesting.
But we're going to leave it at read.
Because otherwise, if we kept doing that, it'd incur more costs, maybe?
Yeah, there'd be a lot more network transfers.
Yeah.
Well, not a lot more, because
it's still not that much data.
It's not that much data. No, it takes care of the checkpointing and says, what have I already read? But you know what, that's a topic for another day.
Okay.
We're going to leave it at this, at read. And maybe we'll explore streaming in the end.
Alright.
Maybe
so.
Maybe not. We'll see what's going on.
Yep.
Okay, any more questions, Nick, on anything here?
I think I'm good. That's pretty cool.
Okay. What else do we have in here? We've got application, attributes, and hey, where's our metric gone? Metrics!
Cool.
You know what? I do want to explore something else first before we finish. Session. I want to explore session. I said that every single time we start the app and close the app and wait a period of time, it's going to be a different session. So we should be able to go session.session ID
Right.
and see some different ones in there.
Oh yeah, cool.
So if we go distinct session
Should all
ID,
be.
we should have
Oh.
a few of them because we had a few different sessions that we're playing in.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah, so now if we were to go to where? Which one did I want? It was wait, client ID.
They should all be the same client ID. Yeah.
Yes, client ID, session ID. We can see that all of the sessions, the different sessions, happened against the same client, which makes sense.
Cool. Can we plot that?
Sorry?
Is there anything to plot there?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. No. No, there is nothing to plot yet. I'm a bit sad about that.
We'll get there.
We'll get. Oh, we will. You should see the next ones that are coming up, Nick.
Cool.
Be excited.
I am excited.
Let's finish this one off here. So, yes.
All right. Cool.
See you guys next video.